So, picture this. Every legendary army in history gets teleported into one place, one at a time, and told to capture a modern US military base. No do-overs, no alliances, just pure chaos. Welcome to the ultimate time travel deathmatch, where spears meet drones, and courage meets a radar-guided missile. The battleground? Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Home of the 101st Airborne Division, about 25,000 soldiers, Apache helicopters, Blackhawks, HIMARS launchers, and more drones than some countries have cars. This base isn't just big, it's a metal porcupine with every inch wired for defense. Oh, and to keep things fair, every wave starts fresh. No damage carries over. Think of it like a video game with infinite respawns. Except, the NPCs have real guns. Wave 1. The Spartans. Not 300, that's Hollywood nonsense. We're talking 3,000 warriors. Bronze armor gleaming, spears ready, and the kind of discipline that could make your gym coach cry. They march in perfect phalanx formation, shields overlapping like a moving wall. It's impressive. It's terrifying. It's also very, very visible. The moment they step out of the tree line, every thermal camera in the base lights up like a Christmas tree. An alert flashes. A CRAM turret, basically a minigun on caffeine, spins around and says, "Hi." One pull of the trigger and thousands of 20mm rounds scream through the air. The Spartans drop by the dozens, but they don't break. M240s join in, then the big boys, the 50 cals, start tearing through shields like soda cans. Still, some Spartans actually make it. About 400 reach the fence, get tangled in razor wire, and die trying to cut their way through. One even hurls a spear that hits a Humvee tire. Good throw. Bad outcome. He's turned into red mist 2 seconds later. In the end, their bravery is unquestionable. But bravery doesn't stop 4,500 rounds per minute. Wave 2. The Roman Legion. 5,000 soldiers, shields, armor, and that famous march like a machine discipline. And unlike the Spartans, they come prepared. Siege gear, Scorpios, catapults. The whole Roman engineering kit. They start a textbook approach, setting up artillery lines and scouts. It's neat, it's tactical, it's useless. Ground radar spots them instantly. Thermal optics mark their coordinates, and before anyone yells, "Ave Caesar," 120mm me, mortars start raining down. The Romans panic. Their wicker shields burn. The catapults explode before even firing once. They try lighting green wood fires to create smoke and blind the sensors, which is adorable. Modern heat vision laughs at smoke. At dawn, 3 massive testudo formations, those turtle shell shield walls, push forward through craters and corpses. They actually make it within a few hundred meters of the fence before the 50 cals and grenade launchers open up. The formations crumble under high explosives. A few brave souls crawl forward, using dead comrades as cover, breach the wire with a fallen cart, and slam into a storage shed. Their reward? A single Apache helicopter rising like a mechanical angel of death. 130mm burst later, the shed, and everything in it, is gone. Rome falls again, this time before breakfast. Wave 3. Napoleon shows up. 35,000 infantry, 6,000 cavalry, 140 cannons, the full French orchestra of chaos. But Napoleon isn't stupid. He spreads his army, tries to outthink modern tech. Cavalry fans out in a wide arc, cutting off resupply lines. Artillery lines up a kilometer away and starts shelling the base. Most cannonballs bounce off walls or explode harmlessly in fields. But one lucky shot takes out a guard tower. That's the only Vive la France moment they get. 3 Apaches lift off and erase entire artillery lines in one swoop. Hellfire missiles reduce 18th century cannons to antique scrap metal. Horses panic, soldiers scatter. By nightfall, the French are trying trench warfare, digging zigzags toward the fence. They actually get close. Sappers crawl within 400 meters, toss smoke grenades, Plant charges, and for 30 glorious seconds, there's a breach in the wall. It's sealed immediately, of course, but for a moment, they almost had it. Unfortunately for Napoleon, almost doesn't beat drones, mortars, and machine guns that never miss. His best plan gets shredded by a $60 drone with a GoPro and an attitude. The siege collapses into mud and smoke, and Bonaparte probably wishes he'd stayed in Elba. Wave 4, Nazi Germany, circa 1944. The Wehrmacht rolls in with gliders, Stukas, and tanks. The opening is sneaky. Paratroopers in DFS 230 gliders try to land near the airfield. Radar spots them immediately. Tower gunners open up with machine guns, and half the gliders crash before touchdown. The survivors sprint into darkness, only to run into automated defenses. Then come the Stukas. 36 of them, screaming down like mechanical banshees. Avenger missile trucks fire stingers. A few bombers slip through. One drops a bomb on a fuel bladder. Another wrecks some parked vehicles. But the command center, Apaches, and drone control stay intact. Then comes the artillery. Nebelwerfers and heavy guns start pounding random coordinates because, well, no GPS. In response, HIMARS fires back with surgical precision. 6 guided rockets later, entire German batteries just cease to exist. Now the tanks move, Panthers and Tigers creeping through the morning fog, hoping to use stealth. Spoiler: heat sensors exist. Apaches pick up every engine plume from miles away. One volley of hellfires, and the lead tanks turn into fireworks. Javelin teams on the ground finish the rest. Some tanks fire back. It doesn't matter. None make it. Then the infantry rushes in. MG-42s, flamethrowers, grenades, the whole desperate mix. But thermal sights don't care about fog or camouflage. The 50 cals and airburst grenades mow down everything that moves. Out of 8,000 troops and 120 tanks, fewer than 300 make it to the fence. A few manage to blow a small gap before being turned into abstract art. The battle ends with burning steel and regret. Wave 5. The modern combined force, a nightmare alliance of today's best tech. Stealth bombers, AI-assisted tanks, drone swarms, elite special forces, no flag, no politics, just pure efficiency. If we gave them a free shot, they'd flatten Fort Campbell in 15 minutes. But that's not the challenge. This time, the base gets a chance to fight back. It starts small. Cyber warfare. Malware sneaks in through a fake Wi-Fi login. Cameras flicker, screens glitch, and everyone blames IT. Then GPS goes out. A US Growler jet floods the sky with jamming, cutting off satellite signals. The base scrambles to back up navigation. Then comes the hammer. 24 DF-17 hypersonic missiles launch. Mach 5 speed, near vertical dive, impossible to intercept, but not invisible. Satellites pick them up, defenses brace, and somehow, a few interceptors hit. Not enough, though. Explosions rip through storage areas and vehicle lots. Then, from hundreds of kilometers away, B-2 bombers launch cruise missiles that skim the terrain and explode on impact. The runway shatters. Fuel depots go up in fireballs. 2 C-rams spin to life, spitting out thousands of rounds per second, cutting down dozens of incoming drones before overheating. But the swarm doesn't stop. 1,000 Lancet loitering drones crash into towers, bunkers, radar masts. Communications die. Blackhawks lift off, dropping special forces teams around the perimeter. Silent, efficient, lethal. They move through the base like shadows with rifles. Behind them, the tanks roll in, 90 of them. Leopard 2A7s and M1A2 SEPV3s, the best Earth has to offer. HIMARS launches counterstrikes, taking out a few, but the rest keep pushing. Kamikaze drones finish the stragglers. Inside, chaos. One US fire team ambushes a convoy with javelins and grenade launchers, taking out 2 vehicles before getting pinned down. One guy escapes. The last Apache lifts off, dodges missiles, fires a full Hydra volley into a column of fuel trucks, and barely makes it out. By the end, Fort Campbell is still fighting, still punching back. Dozens of drones destroyed, tanks burning. But it's not enough. The modern combined force finally overruns the defenses. The base falls, smoking, cratered, but defiant to the last bullet. So, the question remains, could any of the older armies have done better? Probably not. But hey, it's fun to imagine. Thanks for watching.